Alright, everybody. Today I want to talk about a concept for Oden buff to come. Of course, it's been. They passed him and did Roger and Kaido and Yamato. So they passed 3 EXs and still haven't done him because, yeah, Oden came out right before Roger. And then Roger came out, and then Akainu, then Kaido, then Yamato. So they passed Akainu and they passed Oden. So, of course, Akainu I don't think needs a buff that bad, but Oden does. So I just put a little stuff together of how his buff might look. Of course, I just did what I kind of wanted him to have. Of course, it's reasonable. I didn't give him like insta kill or whatever, teleport to every treasure and instantly grabbed it. It's a reasonable buff. I just don't know if it will actually happen, But alright, so first we have his skill 1. So of course this is his normal. We got skill 1, skill power 5, 7, 8, knockback effect, speed increased by 30%, and the cooldown 29 seconds. And what I changed, of course, is highlighted in yellow. I just changed his attack power. I just upped it a tiny bit to 600. I put it so his skill launches you for a little bit more of a distance. I believe they did that with the Yamato. You just go a tiny bit more of distance. And then I increased his speed to 50%. Just, a little more speed boost never hurt. Won't be that too OP. It's only 20% more. So he's going to be going really fast. And then, of course, I just got his cooldown down from 23 or 28 seconds. And we just did it a little bit, just 5 points to 23 seconds. So, I think pretty reasonable. I think if he could launch a further distance would be very nice. A little more speed increase, a tiny bit more attack power, and then of course his skill cooldown is a little more. Alright, now we got his other skill. So step 1, skill power 364, step 1, stun, short, activation probability 100%, and then stun them for 3 seconds, skill power 496, and cooldown 38 seconds. And what I changed, I didn't change too much on here. I made his stun last from 3 seconds to 5 seconds. Not a crazy difference, but still 2 extra seconds. You could get an extra hit in or something. Of course, if they don't have whatever, ignore stun. Skill power I increased a decent amount to 550 instead of 469. And finally, I got his cooldown by 10 seconds, which is a lot, but still, there's been crazier. I believe they knocked Kaido's from like 40 seconds to only 23 or something like that. So, 10-second difference isn't crazy. Of course, the skill's pretty nice. You can teleport across certain areas. You stun the enemy. You can hit them with the skill, get away from them, whatever you want to do. But pretty good. Next we have, of course, is his traits. So these are his normal traits. When the enemy is in the treasure area while you're capturing treasure, 1 HP will be left even if KO'd by enemy. And then when the enemy is in treasure area while you're capturing, resist stagger and being down. While you're capturing treasure, nullify status effect inflicted by enemy. And when your HP is 70% or more, boost capture speed by 50%. And I changed a decent amount here. So for his first trait, I gave him, along with all that, resist stagger while he's in the enemy's treasure area. I believe Yamato also has resist stagger. So basically you won't be staggered or anything while in the enemy treasure only. And then for his second, we have when the enemy is in the treasure area while you're capturing treasure, resist stagger and being down. And then I added and knockback, so you won't get knocked back when you're capturing treasure as easily, or you can't be knocked off as easily. While you are capturing treasure, I took that out. So while you're capturing treasure, just completely took that out. And I just nullify status effect inflicted by enemy. Just straight up take that out. Now he just nullifies status effect inflicted by enemy no matter what. So he will not be frozen or whatever pretty or actually I think I messed up here. I don't think it's possible to straight up nullify the effect, I think it needs to be called shortened, technically. Shorten it to like 2 seconds or something like that. So, and then trait 1, when your HP is 70% or more, boost capture speed by 50%, and I added on top of that, and reduce damage received by 50%. So, he gets 50% capture speed along with a whole 50% while he's capturing treasure, or when your HP is 70% or more. So he's going to be very, very tanky, just like Yamato. Next line we have, when you're... 1 second, I think I flipped those around. Okay. Which one is it? Okay, this is the next one, I think. Yeah, okay. So, next one we have is... of course, the top one is already there. When your HP is 70% more, reduce whatever damage received by 50%. And then for his other traits, we have when you capturing treasure, recover HP by 30% and reduce the cooldown time of skill 1 by 20%. When using skill 1, speed boost by 10% for 10 seconds, cannot stack. And then when attacking an enemy in the area around your enemy's treasure, increase damage dealt by 30% and increase damage to defenders by 20%. And what I changed here is... where is it? I mixed them up. 1 second, there you go. Alright, so what I changed here is, when you capture the treasure, you now recover HP by 50% instead of, what was it, 30%, I believe? Yeah, 30%. And then I, put skill 2 cooldown by 70%. A lot of HP. I believe Yamato has 100% skill cooldown, so I didn't want to give him just instant skill cooldown, because what I already gave him is already making him pretty OP, but 70% cooldown pretty much will automatically be back when you capture a treasure. And he gets really nice heals, literally 50% heals. That might be a little too OP. 50% heals every time you capture a treasure, but I mean, there's a lot of characters that do insane damage, so those heals would be nice. And when using skill 1, speed boost by 10% for 15 seconds. Not a crazy difference, 5 seconds more. You know, not crazy, but it will definitely help. You can maybe clutch up at the end. And then finally, when attacking an enemy in the area around your enemy's treasure, increase damage dealt by 30% and increase damage to defenders by 50%. So I gave him, instead of 30% to defenders or whatever it was, 20, I gave him 50, because I think they're going to make him a straight up Kaido counter, of course. Because Kaido is pretty broken, and he has type advantage, and yeah, it would be very, very nice if he was able to do a lot more to Kaido. I kept the increased damage dealt, just straight up damage dealt by 30%. I kept that the same, because I mean, we don't want to make him too OP. If I increase that to 50% also, that'd be 100% damage if you're attacking a defender. But pretty OP. He will be he'll have quite a bit of attack as a runner. Alright, finally, for his final traits, I have... when these are his normal ones. When an ally from your team is KO'd, attack boost by 30% for 20 seconds, cannot stack, and reduce the cooldown time of skill 1 or skill 2 by 15%. When your HP is 70% or more, boost the capture speed by 50%, and then, you know, the boost trait. And I didn't change too much here. I just changed the skill 2 cooldown by 50%. So, basically, if 2 of your teammates die, you get a lot of whatever HP or a lot of attack, plus you get your skill 2 cooldown. And for the cooldown, it doesn't say cannot stack, so yeah, if 2 of your teammates die, instant skill 2 cooldown back. And then when your HP is 70% or more, boost capture speed by 50% to 70%. I changed it to not crazy difference, but it'll definitely help. He would definitely be good for clutching up at the end. That's basically what I made him. He's really fast, a Kaido counter. He can clutch up at the end with his insane capture speed along with his speed boost. So, plus he gets more damage reduction, easier skill cooldown. I think it's a pretty reasonable buff, except I made a little more little things too OP, I think, but I was going to give him ignore flag when enemy is on it, and I think he could get it. I think maybe take away a little bit more of his OP-ness and give him that instead. I think that's very possible, because, I mean, Yamato didn't get it, Marco didn't get it, so not sure if they would add that to a buff character. I think they would. Definitely adding that would make him so OP, so we'll see if they actually add that, but I think it's definitely possible. I just didn't give it to him. But that is my Oden buff. I know probably not the best buff. I might have made him a little OP in some areas and some others just weak, but I think overall it should be pretty close to his actual buff. Of course, they don't do too crazy things when they buff someone. Usually they increase attack power, decrease skill cooldown, maybe add 1 or 2 lines of like resist stagger and be knocked back and downed and stuff like that. They don't add too much. They just basically, what's it called? They add on to whatever or tweak other things, like maybe like older Bounty Fest, they increase skill speed, so you do it faster. Of course, old Bounty Fest have their speed is just insanely slow and their attacks, and you just get knocked out of them. But for Oden, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think his skills are slow enough to be increased. They could increase it by like maybe a second or something. That'd be pretty OP, but I honestly don't think his skills need an increase in speed. They activate pretty much immediately. His teleport skill is pretty fast, and then of course his speed boost skill is still pretty fast even, so yeah, that is my Oden buff. Not sure if it's good, probably not good, but I don't know. He just needs a buff. I hope Bandai makes a buff no matter what they do. He'll probably be OP, and yeah, we'll see. I think I don't know if they're gonna buff him next. Honestly, I could see them skipping him and doing a Kainu instead, even though he needs it more. But if they do buff, either it's going to be in like 2 months right before Annie, 2-3 months right before anniversary, or it's going to be right after anniversary. We did get, I don't know, we got Raja, and then literally, 2-3 months later, we got Yamato and Kaido's buff, which was insanely close to each other. Usually it's every 6 months, but that was just like 2-3 months in between, so maybe they'll do it early. I doubt they are, but we will see when it comes time for the next buffs.